Hello, y'all. I been blessed to see an example of how God works. My whole journey has been with Yeshua. And if you can stick around for a minute, I'm about to show you the power by the hands of God, what God can do for you. But you gotta be strong enough to deal with what you ask for. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have read, but I know majority of us know the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd. I don't even know why I'm whispering. That was my grandmother's favorite song, the number one song. That was the one she taught to me. And the second one she taught to me was the Psalm of Protection. I think it's the 91st Psalm or 92nd Psalm. And that's another story. And I could tell you something that attacked me. And I won't go into that, but it wasn't, now I know why I was under attack. Never wanted me to make it here. I wasn't supposed to get here, okay? So this is all about Yeshua in the journey I've taken and continue to take with him. Now, those of you not familiar, there's my story out there, okay? But see, when you ask God, like in the 23rd Psalm, to prepare a table for you in the presence of my enemy, and my cup ran so far over. My cup was running over. And although I walked through the shadow of death, I felt fear, no evil. Y'all heard me. I didn't care, because he was with me. He was my rod, my staff. And I shared with y'all, he was the only one that comforted me. My family wasn't around. He delivered me out of the hands of mine enemies, and he put them beneath my feet. Matter of fact, that's weird too, because my feet have been damaged. But my feet right now, the amputation and the almost trying to salvage my other foot from getting that bad, is the weapon that I'm gonna use up over their heads. Y'all getting this connection? Now, I was out here whining the other day, like, God, Yeshua, how long? Seems like every time I go and proceed and feel like it's a winner, these people seem to, like a snake, they slithering out of it. See, when you ask God, all your enemies and all the people oppressing you, it couldn't end because God had to deliver all of them. There was one more left. I got the mayor, I got the governor, I got the attorney general, Elizabeth Warren. Who was the other one I contacted? Oh, I contacted the whole legislature, the Boston Police Department. But there was more and more. Mayor's office. I needed a connection for her. Oh, and the housing court. And I needed a big connection for her. See, when this judge gave a court order, and she said that I had the rights to be treated like everybody else. That's a violation, main violation right there. But the mayor's assistant, okay, I got many videos of her, matter of fact, she said, it's your videos that they're worried about. Well, she needs to worry about her own video now. Okay. Mayor's assistant. You personally took me downstairs, me and my son, to see Mark Washington. And you signed him to my case. You said to him to get me a lawyer, which he did. And you were supposed to be an advocate for me to help me get through this, which you didn't. Matter of fact, you lied. Remember? I'm telling y'all this because, not that I fear, but I know retaliation, and it's been coming at me every time I press the issue for respect of humanity and just life and liberty. It was a cost, and it cost me my physical and mental health. Okay. That's why I say, whatever you're going through, and you pray to God, and you ask God to move this mountain, be patient and be prepared to endure the storm. But you got to stay with it, because God is a God. Yeshua is a God. See, that's his title. His name is Yeshua, that answers. And the thing that said, he said, I will answer you. Call me by my name. Call him by his name. You're going to want to after this. You ain't going to call him Jesus anymore, okay? So let's get back to Mark Washington. So she was very animated. I want you to help her, you know. So she told me I was in good hands with him. Good hands. Okay. Now, we went to court. I told y'all about that. They lied to them, but told me it was for an eviction because they got pissed because the judge court ordered them to do a specific thing. This is so important about this judge, okay? She gave him an order, but she didn't enforce it. Twice. One in 10/20/20, and the other one in 2025, and then 2026. This January, when they supposed to answer to why she didn't follow the judge's court, why they didn't follow the court order. That's what told me that they're getting me in the court to use whatever lies they want to try to get me thrown out, but they could never succeed. I'll tell you how God was with me all the time. I said, let no weapon form against me prosper. You sure? And like I said, I was like a fetal position in that bed. I'm rocking. And all my tears, oh God, how can they do this? And God, well, you know, why do they keep winning? I'm like, you sure? Well, it was God damn it. You sure? That's a habit. I'm going to call him by his name. But old habits, I'm trained to do this. Every time I say God, I'm going to say, nope, you sure? Okay, God is just the title. And I want it more personal than that, okay? Because anybody can be a God. Anybody can worship God. So he's not God to me. He is Yeshua. Okay. So, and I'm not here to preach, but if I have to, I will. Anyway, when we was in court and the debt was settled, all but $17 in the court costs. $17 was $18, they say roughly, was paid. I'm at zero on my rent. I don't owe shit. Okay? Like I told y'all, I've always been a rent payer. Might not always be on time, but who is on time every time? Been here fucking 13 fucking years now. Shit happens sometimes. But the zero balance is the zero balance in 13 goddamn years. Not including how they was overcharging me and undercharging BHA. Y'all, I went through some shit. But the main thing, I asked God to put, like I said, all my enemies. So it was the management. Got them in the court, even though it didn't rule, because they lied. The Boston police. You can see that. Police accountability. The videos are out there. Videos are out there. Okay, now, the mayor, the governor's office, because see, the mayor's supposed to be for police accountability. Oh, these charges is adding up, y'all. And the governor, Mari Haley, she was attorney general. I put in 5 applications, about approximately 5, about civil rights violation. Somehow she got elected governor. Now, MCAD rigged my case, Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination, and then they refused to give me an appeal. Boom, governor. Boom, mayor. Boom, Boston Police Department. Boom, Peabody Properties, who got fired for the racial discrimination. Boom, community builders. Now I'm under attack because I won't submit to your superiority attitudes. Boom, I got no police disturbances in 13 years in my building. Boom. I got no records of any disturbances with any of my neighbors. Boom! I'm a perfect tenant. Boom! Although they were coming at me with many lies and many threats, we don't want you in here. So here goes the racial video. Oh, they're worse on the blacks than they are the Hispanics. They're building this area to be another Copley Square, and they don't want your kind in here. Boom! When I told you I'd gone through so much. Okay. Now, God said, when you've been oppressed, and he pulled you out of the oppression, now it's time for restoration. See, and I always kept saying, when Yeshua does something good, and when you, like when he say, and this is the hardest thing for me to do. Ooh, wee. He said, give it to me and let me fight your battles. But when you try to force it, you're taking the power away. You just strip yourself because you're letting Yeshua know that no, I trust and I believe in this prayer that you're going to deliver me from this, but you put your little hands in it. You try to push it quicker than what it is, and sometimes it backfires because we're doing it on our timing and we're not doing it on God's timing. See? And I was so much pushing into getting this done and thinking that, hey, I got him. Boom, I got him. Boom, each time. And I didn't have shit. And then God told me why that happened too. He said, why would I give you one victory when you ask me to put all of your enemies at your feet? Therefore, I couldn't give you any of those because I'm doing what you asked me to do. You told me that you wanted everybody to pay for what this was done to you. So therefore, I could not do nothing until now. I want y'all to see this clearly. When I was telling God to order my steps in his word, didn't say it every day, but out of the blue, wake up sometimes, say, God, Yeshua, what can I do for you today? That somebody that whatever I've experienced come in contact, that I could be a reminder and a blessing, because I can use myself as an example of a person that's gone through some shit. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm alone. I don't deal with fake and phony people. I might be around, but as far as a personal platonic relationship with someone that you can, on the same wavelength, spiritual wise, that you can really grow with. And I'm not growing with what I don't perceive as a behavior or behaviors that, and what I'm talking about is the meanness and the cruelty we have with each other. I'm not a part of that, and I hate to see it, and it hurts me. And when people take my spirit and try to hurt me with it as a tool of thinking that I'm vulnerable, and they can manipulate me, I'm looking at them the whole time. Because I've gone through those experiences, and you can recognize it when it's coming at you again. See, all them fakers out there, and the thing, that's what my mom says, it's okay to be a fool just one time, but don't let it keep repeating itself. All things was part of my molding of who I am today, because I was a very quiet, meek person. You could say boo, I might startle, but then I'm like, what the F? And what was that for? But I was never boisterous. Because like I say, I'm not a person that quickly reacts. Unless it's a physical thing, then I'm going to react. But other than that, I'm first going to try to understand why the aggression. And then I got to go and do a recall to find out maybe what part did I play in this? And if I found out that I didn't play a part in it, and this was something coming from this person, then I'll confront the person on it. Then we get an understanding, because what I may assume may not be what, but if the shit don't make sense, I still say, well, let's just leave it at that. But when I walk away, I'm going to be like, that really thought that. Okay. But the next time I see him, I'll be like, hey, how are you? Good. Then I walk away, I'm like, oh yeah, motherfucker. Y'all want to know about me, that's the kind of person I am. But I got it the hard way, okay? Nothing came easy to me. Lot of pain and suffering, okay? Let's get back to this. See, Mark Washington is the key to everything. He was the last one on the list. So when I went down there to the mayor's office yesterday, and I went to H. Strong, now this is where the mayor's assistant sent me. Matter of fact, you see my videos, the minute I come up through there, and I tell you they know my name, they send her out each time, because she's black. See, they hide behind the office back there and at the reception that here she come. Let's get black on black to deal with black on black. But I don't give a fuck if you are black. And if you're defending in the wrong cause, I could, yeah, you could talk with me, but when she started that aggressive shit, I get aggressive too. No, motherfucker, you just like me. And I don't take on to that thorian type of attitude. No, you're going to talk with me with some dignity. I'm not your child. I walk away from ignorance like that. But I come back. They got tired of seeing me. And every time I pimp them, when they run out of bullshit and they ain't got no more to throw at you, when the shit don't stick on the wall, then you see the real one. You see the real one. Then you see the... Who you have to go to? That was the last response I got from her. That way, that told me she's scared. She's scared. You ain't got to keep shit going. Leaving with the panic. And even wondering what the next move is. When I told y'all I'm being watched by a hawk, how in the hell did the community builders go to the courthouse and say, she's recording on her YouTube and it's destroying my business? That means they're watching me. They're watching everything. So this way I'm going to do it this way. Then I'm going to share it to my YouTube in X and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. See, never let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. Just in case they want to put in and they bar everything coming out of YouTube. But they ain't disputed nothing yet. They ain't called me for slander or nothing yet, right? Shit like this, destroying, and these people are all around Massachusetts. I mean, all around the United States, got contractors. See, like I said, when God puts you on a mission and you go out of your pain and tell God, they can't do this to other people because my heart is too big. And I said, I can't imagine they're using this tactic. And I know it ain't right because God gave me enough common sense to see right through this shit. And I said, these people need a voice. We need a voice. Somebody has to speak out about this. That was my covenant with God. God said, okay, you want the challenge? Get ready. Because they're going to come at you. But I didn't see it that way. I volunteered. And God, like they say, has a good sense of humor. But at the end of that, because like these people now suffering from Trump, give us Donald Trump. And now he said, okay, I'm going to give you what you asked for. I know this person's heart in manipulating because a liar is a liar, right? But this is what you want. I am a prayer answerer, so boom, there's another boom. I hope I didn't scare you. He gave it to him. Now y'all seeing how God works. So I'm dragging this thing in about Mark Washington. Now, When we went to court after they failed attempt to get me evicted for not even a full month's rent, and because of the extermination, the pest control people, they have to do this. So now he's pissed because he's done lost again. So that's why he said, let's go try to evict her again. They keep doing the same fucking pattern. Since I moved in here in 2013, they have not changed the patterns and the lawyer threats, which they should be disbarred. Their license should be taken away. So I forgot the lawyers for threats and intimidating. I don't give a fuck who sent them or said this. That person needs to be liable. Because there's a base of this that's giving it to these lawyers to send me lies and threats and attack me as a person. See, the lawyers are involved in this not because of an accusation, but because of the threats that I don't shut my mouth. This is the power of what they can do to you. That's why they need to be Turkish, all of them, no more. Because then they've used this lawyer system, which represent most of the housing situations. So every case needs to be opened and reevaluated. Because they threaten you and they make up shit. And they have the power to go into court because they got judges working for them. Now you see the shit that I've gone through, to the extent that I've gone through the suffering I've gone through. But when I said, let no weapon form against me prosper, he showed me the weapons that they were using. They're so pissed off at me, they overlook the power behind me, which is Yeshua. They keep thinking, well, I have to keep getting out of this. No, baby. God said, that one, she has got the drive, and I'm going to test and see how far she going to stand with that promise out her mouth that she's not going to quit. So they came at me with everything, including the amputation of my feet. They came at me mentally and physically. I posted a video this year. I said 150 mil, 150 mil, 150 mil. Well, it's gone up. This is against the city of Boston and government officials. I've been begging for a lawyer. Oh, I'm going to get to Mark Washington. But you know what? I've been trying to find the NAACP for so long. And the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, if you get this message and you see this video, you got any attorneys here in Massachusetts, and maybe it can fall under, because this is a multi-state establishment, all I need you to do is get me a court date. I can be the paralegal in my own case, but I wouldn't do that because I trust you. And the reason why the NAACP not need apply, because I've been trying to get somebody to address this for years. And now that I hear that you are now for the advancement of brown people and not the colored people, and that you have not done anything, I've not seen you do anything but, and I called it the spade, ambulance chases. You taking advantage of families that have under police cruelty, which we've been going through for centuries. And you did a good job. But I think it went to your head that those are the only cases you will follow, because there's so many other cases out there. And don't get me wrong, unaliving someone is the most important, because that's the ultimate price that somebody paid. But there's a lot more stuff that we're going through that we could have used your help with. And now we see what you're doing on our own private website. And like I said, where all of y'all are lawyers at? Where's that? We only see you. Where's the rest of y'all? We only see the president or the chairman, the big boss, when it's award day. I'm glad I never was part of your organization where I donated money to you, because this would be an even bigger slap in our faces. And a slap in the faces, I can't speak for everybody else, but I would assume that y'all on a money trail trying to find income. Well, you got it, but you don't want to deal with that. You want headline shit. What happened to the real NAACP? So you need not apply. I'd rather have Honorable Louis Farrakhan send me somebody. And they just marched down my street. I was on the other side of the building. I came out to go to the store, and they said, "Oh, you Mr. Jefferson, that's what he's talking about." They said, man, they marched through here. They were looking clean, and they were showing. You know how, and I'm not going to repeat it, you know how whatever we do, we see into more what somebody else would see. So I'm not even going to comment on it. But we can pick up a vibe. Okay. The right hand don't always need to show the left hand what the right hand is doing. Just got to know that they're there. They're pretty big here in Massachusetts. See, we don't share the same titles, but we worship the same Yeshua. They may call him by Allah. I know him by Yeshua, and I know him by that name too, but we serve the same master. I'd rather bless the same master with people than now I know these ambulance chasers and these people that just want and don't do nothing for their people. We've been suffering and suffering and suffering. And, I always thought, hey, when you got civil rights, they there for you. You can take it to them. I'm done with the NAACP. Now, since I covered all the bases and I'm pleading for attorney, I'm going to let you know what this case is about. Now I can tell you about Mark Washington. Now, when we went to court, and the judge gave him that court order, second court order they don't have to follow, right? Mark Washington and the housing specialist was there. Everything's laid on the book. All of these things completed, case closed, right? Once everything, the court fees, that didn't get. So that's what they're going after me for. Same old pattern, right? And I went to Age Strong yesterday, the office of Mark Washington. Like I said, I spoke to that woman. We went into a good over hour. Everything she said to me, well, did you call the police? And I said, for who? A detective that can make up his own charge, and other one following a false police report. And then I took it to Internal Affairs, and the commissioner is giving this Detective Becker accommodation for exemplary work with inventing his own case. I mean, I said, you mean those police, that's the police department? Then when it came to the cases with the judge, I said, I'm recusing this judge because every time we go to court, I got to stand up for this. She's giving them a court order, but she don't even honor her own orders. And here it is, this case, because I didn't finish through with the court costs, they want to use this as a possession, and I keep going in front of the same judge. What do you think gonna happen? Because anything that I wanted to present as truth, she said the party isn't here and she can't take that. But pest control wasn't there either, but she took their letter with an accusation saying I had something I never even had, with the records and showing that, because here's how people fuck themselves. You just can't say shit unless you got a certain power in the court where you're going that they're going to accept everything coming out your mouth and you ain't got no proof or no evidence to show it. We're there because they violated her court order, not because they lied and said I had roaches. What the fuck does that got to do with anything? I guess I'm a good common senser that could read the bullshit and smell it and ooh, Lord, I got all the bullshit. So then she went another avenue. I said, look, the Adult Protection Agency sent y'all 2 referrals telling y'all that I need help getting a lawyer and an advocate for somebody to help me present this case. That's where Mark Washington came in at, right? Never happened. So I went back to the Adult Protection Agency. She said, you mean no one from the mayor's office contacted you? I said, no. She said, well, I'm going to go ahead and send them another referral because they could take this further than what we can. Now, the lady yesterday told me, well, we don't get you an attorneys. See, this is where you hear shit, you store it up in here, then you go back and do a total recall. Wasn't it the mayor's assistant that took me down there and introduced me into Mike Washington and told him to get me a lawyer? Same. But anyway, everything she said and every suggestion she gave, she said the only way the mayor's office can help you is that, because I told them, I said, I can't take no more of these attacks. That's where I was at mentally, and I was asking God, how long, and then, you let him know, look, come on, but God keeps saying, not yet. You don't hear him, but he's saying, not yet. You got one more. And I was there, because I was just saying that, and then it didn't click on me, Mark Washington. But he led me to A. Strong yesterday, the mayor's office. So by the time I was into that little over an hour session with her, she said, the only thing we could do is in the Pine Street Inn. I said, oh, I got a furniture. I got and pets. I said, that ain't gonna work. I said, you mean that's the only thing that you can offer me to put me in safe distance from these people? Is that I have to give up a residence? Is that the best that Massachusetts can do? Now you know why God chose me. I'm like my mother. And she's a Leo. I'm a Virgo with a Leo brought up mentality, okay? They don't back down for shit. And 9 times out of 10, they goddamn right. They just got not statistical ways about it because the world is wrong and they are right. And I'm not saying that they're that, no, because my mother, no way. My mother was a hardworking, wanted the best for her kids, but didn't let nobody shit on her way. That's what I'm talking about. Because Leos, whew, they some strong-minded people. They are leaders and not followers. That's why they have that mentality. Because they're leaders. But anyway, oh, I just heated that. If I get it in my mouth, that shit hot. So now they told the judge, when the judge asked him, well, when can you come to do the treatment? They said, well, we can come the following Wednesday. She said, and what's the earliest you could get in there? They said 9 o'clock. She said, so what's the earliest the exterminator can come? They said, well, we can pack everything up by 9 o'clock and have everything ready for the exterminator, have them scheduled at 10 o'clock. So she said, well, I want her back in that unit. And no, how long did she have to be out of the apartment? They said for 4 hours. She said, well, I want her back in her unit because she did up the time. At 9 to 10, 10 to 3 o'clock. She said, I want her back in that apartment no later than 3 o'clock. No later than 4 o'clock, I'm sorry, because she has to have time to get back in her unit and prepare for meals. She is entitled to the same rights and privileges as everyone else. So that's a violation. But this is the second court order that she put on them. And then the third time, January, we went to court. She didn't penalize them either time for violating her order. So that's what else I put in there. And I told them, I recused at City Hall, I recused this judge. And then that brought me back to a time when the mayor's assistant told me, we're going to get you a lawyer. We're going to bring up this whole thing with Peabody Properties, community builders. But this time, you're going to have to go with whatever the judge decides. See how they were setting me up? They're going to set me up with this judge, but they never followed through with what they said that they were going to do. In the meantime, I'm bitching because, see, I'm saying, every time these people show me somebody that's supposed to help me and they don't follow through, just like the 2 references that were sent over to them, they didn't help. And I'm pissed off because they didn't help. No, that was God protecting me. And putting ammunition in their hand, baby, to probably use against me. So God closed that door to me. Said, no, I don't even want you dealing with these people. I don't even want them going through whatever you got as evidence against them. So a lot of people, you think God is abandoning you, but God is protecting you. Okay? God is protecting you. Sometimes you don't get what you want because you want it, but God's saying, no, I give you this, it's going to hurt you. So now, it's good. It's hot. Good enough right now. This is going to free me up to now open my eyes up to a partner because I ain't got no baggage to give to nobody. I am free, free, free. But I'm comfortable living with just me too. But hey, listen to this. Now, after the judge is saying all of this, right? And it's in that they're supposed to do this every other Wednesday. When we got out of the office, Mark Washington asked them, well, when scheduled next appointment, they said, well, we can do it this coming Wednesday. And he said, well, okay, well, I'm going to be there to make sure everything is going the way the judge said it's going to go. Wednesday came. Mark Washington is there on time. me and another person as the witnesses there on time. We're waiting for somebody to come up at the office because we did a little earlier to see if they're going to go up in my apartment to start to pack up stuff. We're sitting there. 10 o'clock. No exterminator. 10:30. I was like, hey, you want to call this? He said, you mean they don't even come out and let you know that it's not going to be today? I said, You know how we can get them looks? And the look is saying, this is what I've been trying to tell you all. Okay. Now, remember, and I just repeated this, and it's in my file. That's why I say somebody has to tell my story. It's just too funny, too comical. That's why God kept a smile on my face. Ooh, Lord, I can't contribute this to nobody but God. All the agony and the cheering and the rocking. God took that frown and turned it into a smile, because I was like, I'm going to keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. I don't care. And I started getting bold in my speech. And I started letting them know by my eyes, I ain't going nowhere. Most of my videos, I keep telling them, I ain't going nowhere. This is all about Yeshua, y'all. So, I had an incident with Mark Washington, and I said, well, 2 weeks later when they were supposed to show up, I let them know that I had a conversation with the exterminator. And this was later on though. But here's what they told the judge in court, what they could do, and they set up the time. So this is why they didn't want the pest control left alone with me where I could video record. This is why the mayor's office told me, it's your videos that they're afraid of. Because it tells that they've been lying the whole fucking time. And they've been breaking the law by running back and in, trying to rush this guy out my apartment when I have a right to know what's going on here. I'm like, wait a minute. Close my door. Why do you keep running in and out of here? You just can't walk up in my apartment like this. Why do you do that? It's a management. It's a management. Yeah, I'm making, because I'm letting you know who it is. They're Latinos. They don't hire nobody else. So anyway, I did a police report and showed the cops the video, and he said that's breaking and entering. Here's where the Boston police come in: the kidnapping, the falsifying the police records, and inventing your own charge. You know who all of this shit falls up under, right? The city of Boston. So now, had Mark Washington, had he not lied and put in, because of that one time they came versus all the other times they didn't come. They only came 3 times now. It's in the end of February, March, April, and then May, around May 28th is when they sent me that threatening letter, and they're talking about, we're not coming no more. But the judge said she's the only one that could tell them to stop when she's satisfied. See, God is always showing me something in their arrogance, and ooh, I'm already in the 49 minutes, so let me hurry up this. And then Mark Washington, I told him, I said, no, they're supposed to come every other week. And that's when he told me. He said, they exterminated, and therefore that's what I'm going to put in my report. And I'm sorry if you don't agree with what I'm going to write. Let this sink in. So I went upstairs and I said, this is what this man said. And this is not right. They're not following the judge's order. She said, I'll have a talk with them. They're all protecting each other. That's why when I went there that one time and she warned me that letter, that bad letter was already circulating around the court. That's my fucking personal letter. How the fuck is it already circulating around Eastern Housing Court? But here's the big kicker. This happened in February when they got that judge's court order. And because I had gone through so much, and I was telling them, I said, look, you're making me go back into this fetal position. I was telling them, I can't keep going through this. And they're attacking me because they're not following the judge's order. So they're sending me threatening letters, and they're saying that we can have you thrown out of no-fault eviction if you don't stop recording, which is against my constitutional rights. By June, my toes were amputated. Had Mark Washington reported the right report and said, no, Your Honor, the first time they wasn't doing what you said, I would have my toes today. Bam! And who led up to all of this? Because nobody would protect me. Not law enforcement, not nobody would protect me. Nobody would protect me. I had to go through mental and physical damage. I got to have been diagnosed with PTSD, and the doctor's telling me they terrorized you. And my doctor says, I'm so afraid for your health, that he had to list who the harassments were. Mass harassments are. And I have no defense because the city of Boston, they don't even have, unless you live in a facility, you can't go after these people for elderly abuse. It has to be a nursing home or something. So they're protecting them all around the clock. So God put all of my enemies up underneath these feet they ruined. He said, now, Beverly, I gave you what you prayed for. Honorable Louis Farrakhan, let me bless your nation. Because this is a big-ass fight I tried to offer to the people advancement of colored folks so that this money can bless our people. But we serve the same master. And by you all marching through here on my street, might be a sign God says, don't go with them other people. You see how they follow up underneath the Democrat sign and how they mess people over. He might have been a trigger that said, this is who I want you to contact. And my family, I adopted in my heart. But I'm going to talk about my American family first. That's Randy Rogers, Troy Clark, and family, all of the families. Anthony Harvey, Irish Pride, General White. Yeah, those two fellas are white. Family's family. Get over it. These and others are the people that checked in on me. People that were worried about me. Nova Slayer, you gotta come back to the game. Yeah, I'm a gamer. Shit, Nova Slayer, I was bad as shit too in Grand Theft Auto. And I was a commissioner. What they did to me took me from all of that. And my daughters, understanding, and Scorpion Kiss. See, I'm the oldest one. All of these are young people. Now, Mr. Louis Farrakhan, don't get upset. But I'm a witty person. Because I'm an elderly, I'm going to share a little funny story with y'all. Because I'm an elderly woman. Oh, and Rack. Can't forget you, baby. And, God. Now, you know who I'm talking about. He was the only, he was gay. And he's also white. I can't think of his name, his gamer tag. He's a sweetheart. He shared stuff. We had a crew that you can come in and you could tell who you are, and we didn't judge. That's why our crew was listed one of the 1,000 best crews to join out of everybody. Our crew was in the 1,000 mark. Damn, you come to me. Go, I almost had it. Starts with a G. And then there's my adopted son in Africa who I adopted. So there's 2 sons here. And Balcale in Africa. That's my family. See, Balcale, when I was going through all of this, he said he was drawn to my smile. And I tell you, this man, he's very intelligent. I mean, as far as knowing the heart. You know what I mean? And basically, if I was 30 years younger, the protection I'm not going to judge anybody, whether they phony or fake. Please, I'm not that type of person. I want to have belief to some extent. But what I felt in my heart, because I was going through a hard time with my natural son, and they were like, Mama, you do, da la la la. A lot of people say, yeah, they just con and people come to. I don't give a fuck. You accept people good in your life. I can't judge what this man's heart is about. So I'm not going to put him in a category just because you all are saying there's a bad reputation of Nigerians conning people. What you want to believe and what you want to believe is what you believe. Let me tell you what this man did for me. He got me into doing this. This was my best therapy. Because now Dr. Meadows always said what you've gone through was the equivalent of somebody being raped, mugged, or shot. And we don't have the facility to treat that kind of trauma. This is the idea of what this doctor, my PCP, my personal care attendant, my PCA was saying. We listen to you because we can't get your medicine at the right dosage every time you leave them and you go back there, because he said every time you try to get better and he will get back, these people won't leave you alone. That's when he started naming them. He was more madder than I was. And he was a white doctor, y'all, okay? He had a lot of caring. Best doctor at Boston Medical I ever had. Anyway. Oh, Lord have mercy. See, I hate going. Now, I'm going to stop myself from doing that, going into a description, because I lose my, it'll come back to me. You know, when you get old, you start to get old. But now, can you imagine me with this much gumption that I got now dealing with me when I'm younger? When you get God in your heart and you go to God and you pray to God and you tell him what you need and what you want your help with, don't go try to put the shit in your hands. You wait on God's instructions on which way you need to go and which way you need to move. Because when you put your leave the cat alone. Hey, buddy, look at this little boy. Blue, you showing out. But anyway, let go and let God. That's basically what I got to say. So I need a lawyer. I need to get this on the docket. I've been telling them, even NAACP been trying to inform them through my videos. I need help. But they don't see this kind of struggle that we're having. They want to help brown skinned people. They're men, and I listen to this shit. What happened to what the word say for? NAACP? What is it? The National something advancement or something for colored people? See, we were talking about us. And y'all were doing well for a while. Till you became ambulance chasers. You took advantage of tragic situations with families. You started strong, but you ended weak. We've been depending on you all to be our voice in court. So now that you've given up my case, you need not apply. But I've been a faithful servant to Yeshua. I've held up my end of the covenant. And he has delivered all my enemies to my feet. And Mark Washington, who is a worker of City Hall, and the denial of me getting protection and filing civil rights, then appealing to the legislator that they violated, look at my video, they violated my constitutional rights and civil rights. Now I have to start with the city of Boston. Somebody has to pay for these damages. That's why my toes got amputated. Because I had to lead to a resource on where the injury came from. And now I have all the evidence of what caused it, including medical, psychiatry said they terrorized you. Easiest case a lawyer would want. The biggest case is to sue the city of Boston, which follows the police department and every other agency that failed, including the mayor's own officials, A. Strong. This bitch did not do his job and lied and said he's going to put in his report they did. And my video's showing that they didn't. For him to be an eyewitness sitting here knowing that they didn't even show what was going to turn around and motherfucking lie is a lawsuit. NAACP, you need not apply. But if there's a black lawyer out there that if Farrakhan can't do it, I'm accepting all applications. Contact me, Beverly McLeod, lowercase letters, 2011 at gmail.com. Message me your law firm and the number to call you. let's get started. And Kelly, thank you, my son. Thank you. All right, y'all. Have a blessed day. I'm getting ready to post this shit.